Question number 1, factorize fully 4p plus 6pq. Question number 2, expand and simplify. And question number 3 is to solve and show clear algebraic working. For question number 1, to factorize fully, we can write 4 as 2 times 2 and write 6 as 3 times 2. And we look on the left side, the left term. There's 2 there and there's p there, which we can put there. And on the right side, there's 2 there and there's also p there. So that can come out of the bracket. And what is left for the first term is 2, the plus, and what's left is 3 and the q. So factorize means put in brackets. So our answer at the end has 2p bracket x2 plus 3q. So that's what is happening in factorize. Factorize put in brackets. Part B, expand means remove bracket. And then after that, we simplify. So we would do, it's a double bracket. So we multiply e times e, gives you e squared. E times e is the same as e to the 1 times e to the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so it's e squared. E times minus 5 minus 5e. 3 times e is plus 3e. And plus 3 times minus 5 is minus 15. In the middle, the like terms is got e. So minus 5e plus 3e is minus 2e. So your answer is e squared minus 2e minus 15. Part C, solve y equals to 2y plus 1 over 5. Show clear algebraic working. What you want to do is divide by 5 on the right. You want to take it to the left. It becomes times 5. So divide by 5 goes to the left. It becomes 5 times y is equals to 2y plus 1. You want to put all the y to one side. So you take plus 2y to the left. It becomes minus 2y. So 5y minus 2y is 3y is equals to 1. It's 3 times y. So you take times 3 to the right, it becomes divided by 3. So y is equals to 1 divided by 3, or 1/3. Question 2a. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. It is a rotation clockwise, and the center is minus 2, 3. So if you see that I've drawn an extra one there and colored it in pink, you can see rotation. So imagine we started, can you see it? I'm moving it there. So that is B there. Imagine that was B there covering there. To get it to where A is, you have to get it to A, and you will have to rotate it to fit. Because if you don't rotate it, it wouldn't fit. So that is why we say it is a rotation. It was like that in B. You don't just move it straight to A and it fits. You move it to A, but you have to rotate it. So that's why it is a rotation. And when you are rotating it, you use a tracing paper, and you will put a pen and hold it at the center here, at that center point, minus 2, 3. You can try different points as the center, but only the one minus 2, 3 will get it to where it would be there when you rotate it. And you have to do it clockwise, 90 degrees, to get it to that point. So it's a rotation. For part B, on the grid, translate the triangle A by the vector 2 minus 5. 2 means 2 to the right, and minus 5 means minus 5 down. So we start with the vector, the triangle A. We start with A. We take this point. We move 2 to the right, 1, 2 to the right, and minus 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That point ends there. We take another point there and move 2 to the right, 1, 2, and minus 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It ends there. Take this bottom point 2 to the right, 1, 2, and minus 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the triangle there for part B. And the coordinates are minus 2, 2, minus 2, 4, and minus 1, 4. Part C, on the grid, enlarge triangle D with scale factor half and center minus 4, 2. So we start from the center minus 4, 2. We draw these grid lines, just straight lines that touches the original shape at the corners. We draw those 3 grid lines or guidelines. Sorry, guidelines. These guidelines tell us that the answer will be inside them. But with enlarging by the scale factor a half, if the scale factor is a half, that means we're going to multiply by a half. So the original shape has a height of 4 over there. So we multiply 4 times a half. That gives us 2. So the new shape will have a height of 2. And this length for the original shape is 2. We multiply that by a half because the scale factor half will give us 1. So we would, where do we get a side? We cannot do it on the right side because that would be too big. We want, it has to be on the left where it's gone smaller. So that's where we get it, the points there. So it will be minus, the coordinates for the points are minus 2, 1, minus 2, 3, and minus 1, 3. That's where it would fit. Question number 3. Here is a biased 5-sided spinner. Red, blue, green, brown, and yellow. When the spinner is spun, it can land on red, blue, green, brown, or yellow. The table gives the probabilities that the spinner lands on red, or on blue, or on green. So on red, the probability is 0.15. On blue is 0.26, which is higher than red. And on green is 0.33, which is higher than blue or red. When the spinner is spun once, the probability that the spinner lands on brown is 0.06 more than the probability that the spinner lands on yellow. So the one on brown is 0.06 bigger than that for yellow. Jennings spins the spinner 150 times. Work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner lands on yellow. So what you need to know is all the total probability adds up to 1. So when you add all the probabilities, you should get 1. That means probability for red plus blue plus green plus brown plus yellow should be 1. So if you know that, to find that for brown and yellow, you subtract the probability for red, subtract blue, subtract green from 1. That gives you 0.26. Or you add them up first, that gives you 0.74. Subtract from 1, you get 0.26. So brown and yellow is 0.26. The brown and yellow are not equal because brown is 0.06 more than yellow. So 0.26 minus the 0.06, and then you divide by 2. That will give you 0.1 for yellow. The probability for yellow is 0.1. And to get the estimate, remember this formula. It's probability times a number. The probability for yellow is 0.1 times the number of times is 150. That gives you 15. The number of times the spinner lands on yellow is estimated to be 15 times. Question number 4. The table gives information about the price of gold. Price of 1 ounce of gold in dollars, 1st on February 2016 and 1st of March 2016. Work out the percentage increase in the price of gold between 1st February 2016 and 1st March 2016. Give your answers correct to 3 significant figures. You got to remember this formula. Percentage increase. New price minus old price divided by old price times 100. So the new price is 1,236.5 minus the old price. That gives you the increase. New price minus old price gives you the increase divided by the old price. Don't forget that. Divide by the old price. That will give you 110 divided by 1126.5. It gives you 0.0976, and you multiply by 100% to change it to percentage. It gives you 9.76%, and it has to be to three significant figure. 1, 2, 3 numbers, three significant figure, 9.76%. Part B. The price of 1 ounce of gold on 1st February 2016 was $1,126.50. The price of gold increased by 19% from 1st February 2016 to 1st July 2016. Work out the price of 1 ounce of gold on 1st July 2016. Give your answer correct to the nearest dollar. It's increased by 19%. You can find the multiplier, which would be you add 100 divided by 100, or you find 19% of that amount, which is 19 divided by 100 times 1,126.50. It gives you 214. So the 19% is 214.035. You add that to the original amount, so you get the new amount 1340.535. And to the nearest dollar, the 0.5 would become 1. You round it to 1. So it's $1,341. Question number 5. BCD and AFE are straight lines. Show that BCD is parallel to AFE. Give reasons for your answers. And what you have to remember here is alternate angles. Remember the letter Z. Those angles are the same if those lines are parallel. And remember corresponding angles, letter F. Those angles are the same if those lines are parallel. So what we want to do is we add 4x plus 15 plus 30x minus 5. Those two should be 180 if that is a straight line, because it tells us in the question BCD is a straight line. So these two angles has to add up to 180, and we can solve for x. 4x plus 30x is 34x. 15 minus 5 is 10. We subtract 10 from both sides. Take 10 to the right. 180 minus 10 is 170. And to get x, we divide by 34. 170 divided by 34, it gives you x to be 5. You can also form another equation. 30x minus 5 should be equals to 20x plus 45. If these two lines are parallel, these two angles should be alternate angles. So 30x, you take 20x to the left, becomes 30x minus 20x. Take minus 5 to the right, 45 plus 5. So 10x equals to 50, that gives x is 5. So you have shown that x is equals to 5 from two solutions of two different equations. So that's one way to do it. Or you can substitute in the 5. You get to 20x plus 45. Substitute the 5. 20 times 5 is 100 plus 5. 45 is 145. And you substitute the 5 in there. 30 times 5 minus 5, it gives you 145. So you have shown that angle AFC is 145. Angle AFC is 145. Angle BCF is 145. So angle BCF is 35. So BCF is 35. This angle is 35. This one is 145. When you add them to make 180. OAFC is 145 and FCD is 145. AFC is 145. Those are ways to show that those two lines are parallel. Question number 6. Complete the table of values for y equals to x squared minus 5x plus 6. You can do it manually or you can use your calculator. So you can substitute 1 for x. So 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 6 will give you 2. And you can substitute 5. 5 squared minus 5 times 5 plus 6 will give you 6. So that's the table completed. Or you can use your calculator, enter this function. You start at 0, end at 5, steps of 1, you will get this table. You can use the calculator. And when you plot the points, plot all the points. 0, 6 is this point here. 1, 2 is this point. 2, 0 is that point. 3, 0 is that point. 4, 2 is that point. And 5, 6. You plot all the points. You join them with a curve, smooth curve. Don't use a ruler because it's a parabola, a U-shaped curve, smiley face. Now, part B, and you need to plot all the points to get full marks. Don't just plot a couple of them. For part C, by drawing a suitable straight line on the grid, find estimates for the solutions of the equation. Now, if you look at this equation, x squared minus 5x equals to x minus 7, and you look at the graph, x squared minus 5x plus 6, you know the x squared and the x squared is the same. The minus 5x minus and the minus 5x is the same. The difference is, if you take the minus 7 to the right, it becomes plus 7. But we have here plus 6. So you can have it as plus 6 plus 1. That gives you the plus 7. So if we take the 1 to the right, so this plus 6 plus 1 is that 7. We take the plus 1 to the right, it becomes minus 1. So we are actually plotting the original curve on the left side, which is this red curve, and x minus 1, which is a straight line, the blue line. So the left side, x squared minus 5x plus 6 is this red curve. X minus 1 is this blue line. And how do you plot a line? You would work out some values on a table. You can put x is 0, is 1. So if x is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, so y is 0. If x is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So x is 2, y is 1. So you put them and then you draw the line. Now, solution means where does the line and the curve meet? So you have your line and you have your curve. Where do they meet? They meet at 2.1, 2. Those are the 2 points where they meet. And what is the x value? You look at where they meet, draw a line, go straight to the x-axis, and this first one is 1.6. You go to the next point where they meet, you draw a straight line to the x-axis, it's 4.4. That's the next point where they meet. So your two answers are 1.6 and 4.4. So solutions is where the two lines, the line and the curve meets. Question number 7. The table shows the volumes in kilometers cubed of 4 oceans: Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean. Write 7.18 times 10 to the 7 as an ordinary number. You can get your calculator to change this standard form to ordinary number. Change the format for your calculator, it'll do it for you. Or you can write 7.8 times 10 to the 7. You take the decimal place, move it 7 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It ends there. Put a 0 under the arches, so there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So it's 71, 800, and 000. That's it in ordinary numbers. And then it says, calculate the total volume of these 4 oceans. Total means you add them up. Put the first one, take your time and put the first one in your calculator. Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Southern Ocean. Add them up and you will get 6.646 times 10 to the 8. The volume of the South China Sea is 9,880,000 kilometers cubed. Write 9,880,000 in standard form. Standard form has to be 8 times 10 to the something. So you remove, imagine you count decimal places 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the decimal point goes in front after the first number. So it's 9.88. Ignore the zeros after that. Times 10 to the power 6 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 9.88 times 10 to the power of 6. Question number 8. The diagram shows an isosceles triangle. Diagram not accurately drawn, so you cannot just measure it and get the length. The area of the triangle is 12 centimeters squared. That means the area of that triangle is 12 centimeters squared. Work out the perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter is when you go the distance around the triangle. Give your answer correct to three significant figures. So the formula for area of a triangle is half base times height. Half times the base is 5, and the height is h because we don't know the height. So we know the area is 12. So time divide by 2 goes to the right, it becomes times 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. And it's times 5 goes to the left, it becomes divide. So 24 divided by 5, it gives you 4.8. So the height of the triangle is 4.8. Now we want to find x. If you split the triangle with that height, this angle is 90. You would use Pythagoras theorem. So x squared is equals to h squared plus half of 5 is 2.5. So you can say h squared plus 2.5 squared equals x squared. Then we know x is 4. H is 4.8. So it's 4.8 squared plus 2.5 squared equals to x squared. So if you square those and add them, it be square root of 29.29. It gives you x to be 5.412. So x is 5.412. Now perimeter is the total distance around x plus 5. But we know what x is, and we know 5. Add all of them, it gives you 15.824. To three significant figures, it will give you 15.8.